Are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
It's showtime, folks!
Throwdown Nation, what is going on? We are live on a Wednesday evening. It is July 15th, 2026. My friends, we are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 251 of the Throwdown, and we are the community on the interwebs where we celebrate the art and the sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a wrestler based out of New York. Welcome with me, the one, the only, TK Odin. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited for all of these, but I've definitely been looking forward to this conversation. And, for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all or at least most of TK's social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, take the time and go to each of the platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And before we get started, I also want to let everyone know if you have a question or comment, you can put it in the chat, or if you're feeling brave and you want to actually ask your question in person, scan the QR code in the upper right, and it will let you log in audio only, and you can actually come on and make your comment or ask your question in person. The only thing we ask is that you mute any background audio and be at least reasonably civil in your conversation. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
So I've been wrestling for almost 6 years now. It will be 6 years in December.
Awesome. So you've been doing this for a minute or two.
Yes, I've been on the road. I've been off the road. I've been doing this for a long time now.
Nice. So who actually trained you?
So I have actually been trained by 3 trainers already. So one being former ECW star Super Crazy. My second trainer was SOG Ronnie Ribbs, and my third trainer was the legendary Ben Hamin.
Nice. So you've had a small forest of learning trees to spend some time under, and those kind of opportunities are cool because it makes you even more well-rounded as a wrestler. Getting the input and the opinions of different minds.
Yes.
That is nothing but a positive. So in the early stages of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around?
Mentally preparing myself to be in the business. It's definitely a hard thing when you have to try and forget everything that you know and replace it with wrestling. The back bumps, the front bumps, the flip bumps, the hitting the ropes, the hitting the
Mm-hmm.
corners. Everything has to be particular. And when you're in the business, when you're in the ring, you have to make sure that you know what you're doing. So the hardest part was kind of wrapping my head around knowing what I was doing in the ring.
Nice, nice. So, did you come to professional wrestling with a previous athletic background? Had you done other sports, any other kind of martial arts or other type of combat sports prior to professional wrestling?
So I'm gonna be honest with you, Matt. The one thing that I used to do when I was a kid was acrobatics. I used to do like backflips, front flips, but it was mainly with friends, people around my neighborhood. I've been a big fan of wrestling for a long time now, so it was pretty much just imitation off of TV. Um, but once I got into that grasp of like I can do it, I can do all these flips, I can do all these acrobatical things. I kind of gravitated towards wrestling. Of course, basketball, football, the things in my neighborhood that usually, kids do. But
Right.
wrestling was just kind of that gravitating pull that kind of just sent me into that aspect of like I really want to do this.
Nice, nice. So looking over at the Instagram chat, we've got some people pulling in to join us. We've got a 209 fan who is a wrestling super fan out on the West
Yes.
Coast. We've actually got my son Zach.
Hey Zach.
He's actually at his grandparents' house right now. He and his grandparents and his cousins are actually leaving in the morning to go down for a few days at Disney in Florida. And then we've got another wrestler who's actually going to be coming on the show in early September, Andrew Mitchell. So we're getting the beginnings of a good turnout tonight. So I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of professional wrestling the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
That is completely accurate. Actually, I've been a fan since I was about 5 years old. Honestly, I wish I can say I was a fan out of the womb, but just being around it for so long, being around people who've watched it for so long, that were family members, friends, associates. Like I said, it pretty much gravitated me towards toys, video games, and eventually now, as I stand a champion, it led me to my career.
Nice, nice. So, what is your earliest wrestling related memory?
My my earliest, or you said my earliest, right?
Yeah.
My earliest wrestling memory would have to be I traveled. This is my first attempt to actually becoming a professional wrestler. I had this beat up 2010 Hyundai Elantra, and I actually drove all the way to New Jersey for a training opportunity. But then when I got there, it was completely closed. So I drove about 6 hours to New Jersey just for it to be closed, and then I drove 6 hours back to upstate New York. But it just made me want it more.
Oh, for sure. That is definitely dedication.
Yes,
But what I had meant in the question is, what is your earliest memory as a fan?
as a fan,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my earliest memory as a fan was probably meeting Mark Henry as a kid. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, when I was a kid, my parents they used to walk me around the neighborhood. A lot of people won't know this, but Mark Henry was actually in New York at the time. I think there was probably a show going on, or I think he had lived there at one time. But I remember walking around with my dad as a kid, and there was this huge figure. I knew him from TV, but I did not like recognize him in person. So when I looked up at him, it was kind of like this feeling of like, wow, this is what it is to be a
Mm-hmm.
wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of man.
Yes.
So, what was the first live show you ever went to as a fan?
The first ever live show I went to as a fan was actually in Utica, New York, when WWE had their live shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I
So, so,
believe.
so, it, so it was one of the old house shows.
Yeah, one of the old house shows. Utica is a very small city, so we don't have a lot of wrestling traction there. So definitely, it was one of those huge things where if you're a wrestling fan, you had to be there.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, obviously the physical side of this is all extremely important. So tell us a bit about your gym routine. And in your mind, what would you say are the most crucial exercise or group of exercises that you use to keep in ring shape with?
Well, man, I believe that every single exercise is crucial to being a professional wrestler. The squats, like I said, hitting the mats, hitting the ropes, everything is crucial. But I would say the most important thing that I use in my training method is making sure that my footwork is on point. So ladders, usual stuff that boxers do to get their
Right,
footwork right in the ring is what I usually use to make sure that my footwork is right in the ring. Gradually helping myself know about boundaries in the ring, knowing about spacing, knowing about every aspect, the corners. So just kind of building myself around, footwork, making sure that my body stays, the stamina, keeps at its, potential, and making sure that my body can just take whatever it can take.
right, right. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your hobbies and interests? What do you like to do with whatever spare time you might have? What are your things?
So I have 4 kids. So mainly my thing is family. I like to be around my family when I'm out of the ring. I like to be around just genuine love. Sometimes I like to go out, hang out with friends, hang out with the fans, but family is the most important thing for me. So, just taking care of my kids, bringing them around the environment, showing them that this is what dad does as a profession. So, that kind of just, motivates me to keep going.
Absolutely. Have any of them expressed an interest in following in the family business?
Oh yeah, my 2 boys. Yes, my boys are like they're super athletic. They just got a trampoline, so now they're doing backflips, front flips. They're following after their dad's mantra of what he used to do as a kid. So definitely, I feel like in the next couple of years, I'm gonna start training them, at a young age, so that way they can get that grasp of like this is what we do in the ring.
Yep, yep. Uh, Future tag team champions.
Yes, future tag team champ, the Odins.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we're mostly a wrestling related show, obviously, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture. And
Yes.
I'm always looking for recommendations. So by any chance, are you watching or listening to anything really cool right now?
Yes, actually. So a lot of people will never know this, but I actually have a famous cousin. Uh, I listen to him a lot, Cash Cobain. He's really like he's a pillar in the hip hop origin right now. So like he's really doing his thing, he's killing it. I listen to a lot of people locally from my town. Shout out Tone. Tone is really good. Shout out Nazi. Nazi is really good. So a lot of these guys and it's cool because they like wrestling too. I believe Nazi had created a theme song for a couple of friends that who are professional wrestlers. So definitely just seeing pop culture kind of gravitate towards wrestling and help build the portfolio. It's awesome.
Oh, for sure. And I've noticed there is a lot of synergy between wrestling fans and fans of music, and in particular hip hop and metal. I
Yes.
mean, that there is definitely a lot of crossover in those communities, which I find really cool because I'm a hobbyist musician myself. I play
Wow.
bass and rhythm guitar, so music's kind of my other passion. Yeah, absolutely. So, Again, just for the folks watching live, if you have questions or comments, you can definitely throw them in the chat, or if you want to actually ask your question in person, just scan the QR code in the upper right corner, and that will let you actually come on to the show, audio only, and make your comment or ask your question. Only thing we ask is that you mute any background audio and try to be at least reasonably civil. So, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Outside of wrestling, I would say my mother. My mother inspires me the most because you know she raised me as a single mother, and she was the pillar that kind of put me in the circle of professional wrestling. Anything that I wanted professional wrestling wise, any action figures, video games, any of that type of stuff, my mom would go out and get it. Even if she didn't have it, she would still go get it for me. So, just her being that pillar for me, it motivated me to keep going. It motivated me to be at the best at the best ability that I can be at. So definitely my mom has been a big figure in my career.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mothers are such an important influence on all of us, man. Yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. And looking over at the Instagram chat, we've got a dangerous meeting joining us. We've got Cool Rocket 29, and we've got Stella's Wrestling hanging out. So, like I said, we've got the beginnings of a really good turnout for this episode, which is just awesome. So, what is your favorite thing about New York?
My favorite thing about New York is, and a lot of people will never get this for some reason, but the people, just seeing the people walk around, because everybody has a story. Everybody's a main character in New York. So just being around New York and seeing everybody's story kind of motivates me to elevate my story.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, Cool Rocket 29 actually has a question, and that is: would you love a dream match or a best of seven series with Ricochet?
I would say a best of seven. I would say a best of seven because I feel like me and Ricochet, we would have like an epic match. But it can never just be one match. It would have to be a whole bunch of threshold of matches because I feel like Ricochet can do a lot of things. But in my right, I feel like I can do a lot of things as well. So definitely I would say a best out of seven.
Absolutely, and I feel like the two of you could really tell some cool story as well.
Yes.
So they say that the best wrestling personas are usually largely yourself, kind of turned up to 11. So tell us a bit about in-ring TKO Dean and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you. And kind of tell us how the persona has evolved over time.
Well, I used to have this one gimmick, Rizzy. Now, before I got into professional wrestling, TKO Dean wasn't a thing. TKO Dean didn't have a mask. TKO Dean didn't have a real name in the business.
Right.
I knew who TKO Dean was, but I didn't know how to express him to others. So my in ring ability before putting on the mask, it was intense. It was very intense. But since having the mask now, I feel like I've been on 20. I feel like I can go to 30, 40. So it's like just being who I am now as TKO Dean and taking away from who I was as Rizzy, it kind of just elevated me to be at the best performance, in the ring. Now as TKO Dean wearing the mask in the ring, it's even more intensified. It's even more aggressive. It's even more some would say psychotic because TKO Dean is not afraid to take a risk. TKO Dean is not afraid to put his body on the line. TKO Dean is not afraid of the moment. So when you put the old version of TKO Dean next to the new version of TKO Dean, there's a completely different comparison because now this TKO Dean is war ready to where the previous TKO Dean was just, he just wanted to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, so the old TK was just happy to be there, and the new one basically is
He's
ready
here
to
now. He's
own the
ready to
world.
he's ready to
Yep,
take on the world. It's everybody versus TK.
nice, nice. Um, over in the chat, Tanya CJT has joined and wants you to know that she's watching.
Hi, how you doing?
So, tell us about the experience of training under Super Crazy. What was that like? And you know, I'm sure it was an amazing experience. But you know, being an old school ECW fan, I kind of wanted to hear what it was like to train under him.
So training under Super Crazy was definitely like one of those once in a lifetime moments that you people usually don't get in their career, in the first standing of their career. So I took everything humbly. It was hard at first because I had to learn body nutrition. I had to learn how to keep myself physically active. But Super Crazy was really good at making sure that I had everything that I need, all the tools, all the experience, all the the thinking, the mindset of it. So training under Super Crazy was definitely like a real blessing. And a lot of it's crazy because I just found this out. But there was a spot that we had did, which is on my Instagram now. But there was a spot that he we did together that which was my first spot ever doing with Super Crazy. But when I look back at it, he did that same spot with Eddie Guerrero. So knowing that I did that spot and he did that spot with Eddie Guerrero, it kind of just it sent my confidence all the way up to being wanting to be one of the best professional wrestlers.
Absolutely. So, um, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts about it? Let's hear about the very first time you stepped in the ring as a competitor.
So well, and it's crucial to know this. Before I even stepped in a ring, I was training for 2 years straight. So
Right.
prior to my training for 2 years straight, I had gotten to the ring back in 2021, I believe, for a promotion called Immortal Wrestling. It was a showcase. Now, I believe it was around 600 people in attendance. So I was already like peeing my pants. I was nervous, but once I got out there, it was basically one of those things where like I said, you have to experience it for yourself to really know like this is what you want. And being around that atmosphere, it kind of just like it fueled me to keep going further. And just having that fan support, because you never know what the fans are gonna like when you get out there into the ring. The fans determine your destiny in professional wrestling. Whether you get booed, whether you get cheered, they're always going to be that main voice that lets you know if this is for you or not. And just hitting that frog splash after hitting that, at first, I hear the stories all the time. I still can't believe them. But hitting my first frog splash on a live show, I made the whole entire room pop. I made the backstage pop. I made the crowd pop. I made everybody pop, and that's what put eyes on me. And having that, and in that mindset, having that in your arsenal, that kind of like elevated me to just to do it more and just keep going with it. So definitely having that first match in ICW was a very pivotal moment for me.
Absolutely. So now, if we've heard about the first one, so if you can narrow it down over the 6 years you've been doing this now, what has been your favorite match that you've been a part of?
My favorite match would have to be Yusev versus Cheeseburger, the world famous Cheeseburger,
Oh
versus
yeah,
Sly Nye versus TKO Dean. The fatal four way for the S&W TV championship. That would have to be my favorite match only because Cheeseburger was in that match. And Cheeseburger was one of the first seminars that I went to back when I was upstate. And learning from Cheeseburger and having the experience, the level of technique, technicality that he puts into the ring. That kind of just like it was a full circle moment for me just being in the ring with him. Definitely I was nervous. I didn't know if I can hang with all of these guys, but when I got into that ring, I definitely showed out.
Nice, nice. So you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure you've developed at least a few of these along the way. So what would you say is your biggest wrestling related pet peeve?
Wrestling, you said pet peeve.
Yes. Yeah.
And this can be anything, right? Like as far as wrestling,
Yeah.
I would say wrestlers who don't take their in-ring talent seriously. That stops me from what I can do in the ring. If I can't do the stuff that I know how to do in the ring, that make sure that I ensure that the match goes as planned, then it's pretty hard. Like yeah, everybody has to be at their that tip top shape, whether it's 5 people in the crowd, whether it's 6 people, 7 people, even one. We always have to perform at our best level. So my biggest pet peeve would be wrestlers who just don't take their talent seriously.
Absolutely. I can definitely concur with you on that. So, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
I would be great on the mic. Cause the in ring stuff is always gonna come to you. The in ring stuff is it's there, but being on the mic and talking to the crowd and having that ability to have the crowd relate to you, that's a whole different aspect in itself.
Absolutely. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Is there a match or matches that are kind of near and dear to your heart that you find yourself kind of circling back to from time to time?
I would. There's matches, yes, but I'm more of a debut or a return type of guy. So like AJ Styles debuting at the Royal Rumble against Roman Reigns and just seeing the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
go absolutely nuts for a guy who hasn't even been in the company or hasn't even wrestled a match in the company yet. He's coming from a whole different promotion, a whole different genre of wrestling, entering into that limelight of WWE. That kind of, that shows that this is what we want. This is what we all ask for the whole entire world to be around us, the gravitate towards us, be our supporters. So definitely seeing AJ Styles debut, I watched that over and over and over again because that's what I generally want. I want to make the impact that AJ Styles made when he first came into WWE.
Absolutely. So, piggybacking onto that question, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan?
The Miz, the Miz's the interview that he did against Daniel Bryan. Oh God, that was
Yeah.
top tier. One of my favorites.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Miz definitely has the gift of gab.
Yes, he does.
It's funny. My wife is a relatively recent wrestling fan, and she has really well. She knew who Miz was from back when he was on the Real World on MTV.
MTV.
But before he'd even made his wrestling debut, so to speak. And so, we were talking about Miz the other day, and he is in a really unique position right now because, we were talking about it the other day, and we were like, when is the last time that Miz won a match? And we were like, I really don't know, but with him, the position he's in right now, it doesn't matter.
It
I
doesn't.
mean, I mean, he's gold just putting these up and coming talents over and kind of giving them the Miz rub. So
Watching the Miz growing up, actually, it's honestly been like a real gem for me because I got to see him at his worst, and then now I'm seeing him at his his better form. So just having to see that a professional wrestler go through so much mud just to make it to the top. And then
Yeah,
now, he's in WWE, and everybody knows how tough it is to stay in WWE. Everybody knows how tough it is to still be an active professional wrestler. But somehow, with Miz's on-mic skills, with his in-ring ability, he's always stayed on top of the champion.
absolutely. So this is one of these questions that the answer can literally almost change moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, etc. But at this very moment, in your opinion, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
That's a hard one. Oh God, that's a hard one. So personally, and a lot of people don't understand this, but like I watch a lot of wrestling, even outside of the WWE, AEW, all of that, major stream stuff. I watch the indies. I watch the people behind the scenes who mentor the younger wrestlers. So it's not just about it's not just on my how you live yourself outside of this. And I feel like and I'm gonna name drop it. So I feel like Bufa Ayo definitely one of the best wrestlers out right now, just because he's in Japan. He's wrestling he has his own promotion in Japan, his own gym in Japan, but he still makes the time to come out to the States and still teach and guide young wrestlers like me. So definitely, I feel like Buffa, with his in ring ability, and on top of that, his past experiences and his history, who he's worked with, who he's working with now, definitely sets him aside as one of the best professional wrestlers right now. As far as woman, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one because I want to say either between Bailey or uh or Sasha Banks, honestly, because Sasha, you could put her down, but she'll keep coming back. And but Bailey, with her energy and her in ring ability as well, it's unnatural. You don't see a lot of women who put.
Just so you know, your audio is cutting out pretty badly right now. Can't understand you at all right now. Yeah, we've lost your audio pretty much completely right now. Um, I had noticed in the Instagram chat, A209 fan let me know that the QR code was cut off on mobile. I've kind of moved it to the middle of the screen. Uh, so if anybody has any comments or questions that they would like to actually come on the show and ask, you can definitely scan the QR code, and that will actually let you come in and talk to us. You there, TK?
Yep, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
hear you now. I just can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me. Uh-oh. What about now?
Nope. I can hear you
No,
great
no, no.
now. Just and now the audio's going back out.
Is this my stuff? Still nothing.
Nope.
Oh, that's so weird. It was working. It was working already, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was working. It was working fine. Do you want to try to log out and log back in?
Yeah, I'll try to log out and log back in.
Okay. In the meantime, if any of you have questions or comments for TK, hey,
Are we good?
we're back. Still not seeing you.
Oh no, that's so weird. My camera's on. It says that it's on.
Let me look on my end. Um, I mean, on my end, it looks like everything should be good.
Yeah, on my end it looks
Um,
like everything is good. That's so weird.
well, what we can do is just just go ahead with things, and this second half of things will just be kind of audio only.
That's fine.
Um, yeah, yeah. So So where were we? We were talking about who the best male and female wrestlers in the world are, and we lost your audio in the middle of that. So if you want to sort of start answering that question again.
Of course. So I would say Bufa Ayo definitely number one on my list as one of the best professional wrestlers right now, doing his thing out of Japan, and also coming into the states and mentoring young guys like us. But as far as female wrestlers, I would say Sasha Banks, just because she's so relentless. She's she came from a very pivotal moment in WWE, and then she made a risk and took that risk, and now she's become one of the most decorated females in the business.
Absolutely. So, in your opinion, what is the best storyline in wrestling right now?
The best storyline in wrestling definitely would have to be the Leo Rush gimmick going on right now. I would say
Yes.
the Blackheart.
Yeah, I mean, I have been a Leo Rush fan for a long time, but I feel like he has really kind of hit lightning in a bottle with this Blackheart thing. I mean,
Yes.
uh, I'm really interested to see where it's going, and to really see Leo be able to kind of let his creativity really loose has just been so refreshing.
Yes, I've been watching Leo since I actually got into the business. Even before I got into the business, the whole Bobby Lashley sidekick thing.
Yeah,
Watching Leo, or even before that when he was in Ring of Honor. Just watching Leo as at a young point in my career, it kind of elevated me to want to do what he has been doing for so many years now, and just that's just elevating the crowd. Keep elevating his skills. Leo has been like a studying point for me. So definitely Leo Rush, that Black Heart storyline. I didn't see that coming, because that's it's completely out of this world. I seen the whole Black Heart, when he had the blood coming out of his mouth, when he had the thing around his neck, he would bleed out blood. That was awesome. But this whole new thing that he has going on right now with the Black Heart, the bald head, the crazy eyes, the way he's
yeah.
just you know saying his words, it just puts a whole different dynamic into professional wrestling.
Absolutely. Where do you think he's going with all of this? Do you have any thoughts?
I feel like Leo right now is he's just enjoying the moment. He's just loving it. He's loving the support. He's loving everything that comes with it. So it's I feel like the sky's the limit for Leo Rush still. Leo still has a lot to offer in this business that we all work in and we all love. But he's definitely on the right path to becoming one of the most decorated, most best professional wrestlers that I've ever seen. And then, in my opinion, I don't want to put I don't want to put words in other people's mouths, but and in their perspective.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, if you have a question or comment, you can either put it in the chat, or if you're feeling brave, scan the QR code. I actually moved it from the upper corner down to the middle of the screen because I got word that apparently on mobile it was cutting off the QR code, so people weren't able. Hey, we've got your picture back.
Yeah, there we go. I'm fixing it right now as we speak.
Nice, nice. So again, if you wanna ask something in person, just scan the QR code in the middle of the screen, and you'll be able to join us on audio and ask your question or make your comment. So this is kind of a little bit of a hot take question, but in the time you've been following wrestling, what would you say is the biggest or worst example of a company dropping the ball with a talent?
It's when the company doesn't trust the talent. That's the biggest thing for me. And I can relate to that a lot because there's been a lot of times in my career to where people would judge me for my stature, my size, but my talent would be there. But they can never see me as one of their top guys, or they can never see me as their top champion, their top star, because of just the the stature that I have. But I feel like when a company sees the potential in you, that just like I said, that's what fuels a professional wrestler, is when the people that you want to see the potential in you. And once that happens, that's when the ball starts rolling. That's when the championships start coming in. That's when the fans start getting behind you. That's where everything feels right for you. And I feel like,
Oh,
oh, are we
looks
back?
like we lost looks like we lost you again. You there?
I can't hear you now.
Your audio just went haywire again.
Can you hear me?
No,
No, I can't hear
yeah,
you.
uh,
Let's see.
I can tell you're talking, but it's garbled.
Oh, that's so weird. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Let's see if I leave and come back.
Okay, let's see.
You got something now? Can you hear me?
I hear you, can't see you. Can you
I
hear
still
me?
can't hear you. Yeah, I don't know if you're muted or
No? Uh, Anybody in the chat, are you guys hearing me?
technology, guys. Technology. We can love it, but we
I
can't get
know.
along with it.
Absolutely. So what are you hearing me? I guess not.
I still can't hear you, Chief. Fix my audio.
Okay, Tanya CJT says she can hear both of us. You just can't hear
Still
me.
can't hear you, Chief. Fix my audio.
Huh.
Okay, I can hear you on this side right here, so I can follow you from this side.
Okay.
No, I can hear. I can hear you because I have a double screen right here. So if you just talk right here, I can hear you.
Okay. So let's
This
see,
side
where
right here,
were
so I can
we?
follow you from this side. Okay.
Okay.
No,
So
can hear you because I have a double screen right here. So if we just talk right here, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, this is kind of tripping me out a little bit. um, so
Okay. So
and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would you love to have the chance to share a ring with?
it's tripping me out too.
So, okay. So, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would you love to have the chance to share a ring with?
It's tripping me out too.
So, okay. So and this can be present day or past. I don't think this is going to work.
That's a hard one. I would say right now, I have unfinished business in upstate New York, so definitely I would want to face some guys like Mike Skyros, Don Freeze. Those guys are typically like who I really want to like get into the ring with. That's a hard one. I would say right now, I have unfinished business in upstate New York, so definitely I would want to face some guys like Mike Skyros, Don Freeze. Those guys are typically like who I really want to get into the ring with. So
I don't think this is working, dude. I mean, the delay is just really kind of tripping both of us out. I don't think this is working, dude.
Yeah, me either. Me either.
Just really kind of tripping both of us out.
Yeah.
So, what I'm gonna do at this point is, do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you want to give some hype to?
Yeah.
So, what I'm gonna do at this point is, do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you want to give some hype to?
Yes. So August 7th. I'm sorry, August 7th. We have SNW Art of Survival Standing on Business. Inland, Massachusetts. Make sure you guys get your tickets and go check that out as I defend, or I'm sorry, as me and my tag team partner Red defend our tag team championships. August 7th, we have SNW, Art of Survival, Standing on Business, Inland, Massachusetts. Make sure you guys get your tickets and go check that out as I defend, or I'm sorry, as me and my tag team partner Red defend our tag team championships. Sorry, this delay is kicking my butt right now.
Yep. Yeah. So, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this coming Tuesday, July 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 252, and our guest is what we've got coming up on the Throwdown. This coming Tuesday, July 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 252, and our guest is well, I've muted his audio for the moment because it was just really kind of messing with my head. But so this coming Tuesday, July 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got episode 252, and our guest is a wrestler based in the great state of Florida, Drake Xavier. And then next Wednesday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 253. And our guest is Florida-based wrestler, the Tower of Power, Damian Winters. So sorry about the technical difficulties that we were having. But for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern with Drake Xavier, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing down.